This Chinese factory owner just exposed how luxury bags are a total scam.
Some say as long as there's a tag saying made in China, the bag can never be luxury. However, in fact, more than 80% of the luxury bags in the world are made in China. But those luxury brands just won't acknowledge that. They take almost finished bags from China factories back to their own countries and just do the repackaging and logo installing. That way, the bags will appear at their boutiques as made in Italy or made in France. Now, close your eyes. Let's just do a little very easy experiment in your head, okay? Imagine that you have Hermes bag and suddenly the label on it changed from made in France into made in China, while everything else like leathers, zippers, and hardware remain the same. Do you suddenly feel that your bag is not as luxury as before? If you do, that means you have been misled and poisoned by the market campaign of those luxury brands for too long. Welcome to the real world.
Which Chinese factory supply for Louis Vuitton? Let me tell you the secret. Louis Vuitton has many Chinese suppliers, but they just don't admit it. 50% of Louis Vuitton bags are from these two places. Number 1, Guangzhou cities. Number 2, Dongguan city. 90% of Louis Vuitton silk is from Wanshili in Hangzhou city. I have a friend who is a manager in the factories of the Louis Vuitton, and he told me the similar quality only needs $50. That's crazy, right? Follow Daniel, help you find the best suppliers.
The luxury fashion industry is experiencing an unprecedented crisis as Chinese factory workers pull back the curtain on one of fashion's most closely guarded secrets. TikTok has transformed into a battleground where the reputation of legendary French fashion house Louis Vuitton hangs in the balance. What began as scattered videos has erupted into a full-scale exposure of the luxury industry's manufacturing practices that has left consumers worldwide questioning everything they thought they knew about high-end fashion. Across social media platforms, particularly TikTok, videos from Chinese manufacturing facilities have gone viral, showing exactly where those coveted designer items with four-figure price tags actually originate. These aren't just anonymous claims, they're detailed revelations from the very people who craft these products, now offering them directly to American consumers without the astronomical markup that comes with the prestigious logo.
This Birkin bag at Hermes boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost out of the factory? Today, I'm going to break it down in front of you, step by step. First thing first, Hermes only use the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. One is called Nuti from Italy. The second is Vuitton from Germany, and the third is Haas from France. One piece of Togo leather, the same leather as this one, will cost 450 USD. And one piece of the leather is only enough to make one Birkin, okay? And next, the thread. And of course, for Hermes Birkin, the thread is also the best top level. It's called Fil al Chinois from France. This is actually the Rolls Royce in thread. For each bag, the cost is 25 USD. And then the hardware. See, this hardware is called 316 hardware. It's also known as the ocean stainless steel.
The explosive controversy centers around revelations that an estimated 80% of luxury leather goods, including those from prestigious houses like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci, Coach, and Prada, are manufactured in Chinese factories. For brands that have built their entire identity and premium pricing around European craftsmanship and heritage, this disclosure has shattered the carefully cultivated image of exclusivity and traditional European artisanship. Louis Vuitton finds itself at the epicenter of this storm. The brand that has defined luxury for generations is facing unprecedented scrutiny as customers flood into boutiques, not with shopping lists but with questions, confrontations, and cancellations. The disconnect between the romanticized image of French artisans carefully handcrafting each piece and the reality of mass production in Chinese factories has sparked outrage among loyal customers who feel they've been deceived for years. This isn't a minor public relations issue that will blow over with a well-crafted statement. It represents an existential crisis for Louis Vuitton's carefully curated identity.
Know that more than 80% of the luxury leather products, like handbags, purses, and shoes of Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci, Coach, Prada, you name it, most of them are made in China.
The fundamental question consumers are asking cuts to the core of luxury marketing. How can a brand position itself as the epitome of exclusive European craftsmanship when its products are manufactured in the same country as fast fashion? Controversy exploded after factory workers began sharing insider videos that quickly spread across social media platforms. These weren't vague accusations but detailed exposés showing precisely where and how these luxury goods are produced. More significantly, these Chinese suppliers have begun offering the same products directly to consumers, eliminating the middleman and the massive markup. In what appears to be an economic counteroffensive rather than simple transparency, Chinese manufacturing workers are systematically revealing the inner workings of billion-dollar luxury operations. One particularly damaging viral video featured a worker detailing the production process of Louis Vuitton bags, contradicting the brand's carefully constructed narrative about European craftsmanship. The timing of these revelations suggests a strategic response to international trade tensions.
The field is TikTok. It is flooded with such factory videos. Chinese suppliers are reaching out to American customers directly.
As the United States implemented tariffs and economic pressure on China, the manufacturing giant responded by exposing just how dependent Western luxury brands are on Chinese production capabilities. The luxury fashion industry, with Louis Vuitton at its forefront, has become collateral damage in this economic chess game. The most shocking revelation for many consumers wasn't simply the manufacturing location but the staggering disparity between production costs and retail prices. According to factory insiders, a Louis Vuitton bag costs approximately $15 to manufacture, a fraction of the thousands customers pay at retail. What truly infuriated consumers was learning that the only element potentially added after the bag leaves China might be the label itself, completed once the item reaches Europe. This price-to-cost ratio represents a markup that far exceeds what many consumers expected, even from a luxury brand. The realization that they've been paying thousands essentially for a logo and marketing story rather than superior craftsmanship or manufacturing processes has left many loyal customers feeling betrayed and questioning the true value of their purchases.
Makes 80% of your designer bags.
Who's the Chinese supplier behind Under Armour? Shenzhou International.
Nike shoes from China to your country?
Who are the suppliers behind Salomon, Timberland, New Balance, Adidas, Nike, la 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 la? First, Baocheng Factory.
How does one confidently display a supposed symbol of exclusive craftsmanship after learning it was mass-produced at a tiny fraction of its retail cost? For many, this revelation has fundamentally altered their relationship with luxury brands and their perception of what constitutes value in fashion. Louis Vuitton naturally attempted to contain the damage with an official statement dismissing the claims as false and reaffirming their commitment to quality standards. However, the response has been met with widespread skepticism. The issue isn't whether Louis Vuitton can produce quality goods, it's the discrepancy between their marketed image and manufacturing reality, combined with pricing that now seems increasingly difficult to justify. Meanwhile, Chinese sources have continued their offensive by publishing tutorials showing customers how to verify whether their luxury pieces originated in China. These verification methods are circulating widely, allowing consumers to check the authenticity of brand claims for themselves, and many are finding that the evidence supports the factory workers' revelations rather than the luxury brand's denials. The implications extend far beyond Louis Vuitton. Industry insiders predict this may be merely the beginning of a larger wave of exposés. Chinese factory workers continue revealing manufacturing secrets, the entire luxury fashion ecosystem could face unprecedented scrutiny and potential consumer backlash. The foundation of premium pricing based on perceived exclusivity and European craftsmanship is being challenged in a way the industry has never experienced before. Interestingly, consumer reactions have been divided.
Not just calling them out, they're showing the world exactly where your $1,000 handbag or your $100 leggings are really being made. They're now offering you the same exact stuff, no middleman, no markup. In a bold move that seems more like economic warfare than manufacturing, Chinese workers are lifting the lid on $1 billion.
While many express outrage at what they perceive as deception, others maintain that the brand's prestige transcends manufacturing location. For this latter group, the Louis Vuitton logo represents status and recognition regardless of where or how the product was made. The prestige of ownership and brand association remains their primary motivation for purchase. Just as the manufacturing controversy was gaining momentum, Louis Vuitton made another move that further alienated customers, implementing unannounced price increases ranging from 3% to 6% across their product lines. Unlike competitors such as Hermes, which gave customers advance notice of a 10% increase effective May 1st, Louis Vuitton executed their price adjustment with no warning or explanation. This lack of transparency has particularly frustrated loyal customers who discovered the higher prices only at checkout. For a brand already facing scrutiny over production costs and authenticity claims, the stealth price increase has been interpreted by many as tone-deaf at best and exploitative at worst. Industry analysts note that Louis Vuitton's pricing strategy has raised eyebrows for some time. During the pandemic, when discretionary spending was constrained for many consumers, the brand implemented multiple price increases, citing supply chain disruptions and raw material costs. Now, years after those pandemic-related challenges have subsided, prices continue to climb without corresponding justification, leading to accusations of unchecked corporate greed.
These brands brag about being made in Europe. The video claims that more than half of Louis Vuitton's bags are actually made in China.
This pricing strategy reveals Louis Vuitton's confidence in its brand power. Company appears to be wagering that status-conscious consumers will continue purchasing regardless of price increases or manufacturing revelations, that the allure of the logo and associated prestige will override concerns about value or transparency. Further complicating matters, rumors suggest additional price increases are planned, this time with formal announcements. Company seems to be testing how far they can push pricing boundaries without alienating their customer base, betting that brand loyalty will triumph over financial considerations for their target demographic. The situation has escalated beyond public relations challenges into legal territory. According to industry sources, both Louis Vuitton and Hermes have initiated legal action against certain manufacturing partners, alleging unauthorized disclosure of confidential information and trade secrets. The luxury houses are reportedly seeking substantial damages from longtime manufacturing partners, claiming violation of non-disclosure agreements and unauthorized sharing of proprietary designs.
Our artisans, they need to do 4 years of training to be able to manufacture a Kelly bag. This that you've just seen, the perlage, you need to be very skilled and very, very good.
Perhaps most damaging are allegations that some contracted manufacturers engage in double-dipping, producing authentic goods for the luxury brands during regular business hours while operating shadow production lines, creating nearly identical counterfeits after hours. Substantiated, these claims would explain the prevalence of increasingly sophisticated replicas in the counterfeit market. Despite aggressive legal maneuvers, many consumers and industry observers remain skeptical of the luxury brand's position. Critics point out that while car manufacturers like Ferrari and Lamborghini, makers of legitimately exclusive products, routinely showcase their production processes, luxury fashion brands maintain unusual secrecy around their manufacturing operations. Contrast between the luxury brand's secrecy and Chinese manufacturers' transparency has become increasingly stark. While Louis Vuitton and others issue denials without providing substantive evidence, Chinese sources continue publishing detailed information about manufacturing relationships, complete with vendor lists and sourcing guides. The unfolding situation represents more than a temporary public relations challenge. It signals a potential fundamental shift in the luxury business model. The carefully constructed mystique surrounding premium brands is increasingly difficult to maintain in an age of radical transparency enabled by social media and global connectivity. For Louis Vuitton and the luxury industry at large, restoring consumer trust will require more than legal action or denial. It demands a reimagining of how luxury value is defined, communicated, and delivered in an era where consumers have unprecedented access to information about the products they purchase. What do you think? Has this changed your perspective on luxury brands? Share your thoughts in the comments below.